First and foremost, my deep apology to you all, because it happened that I just arrived this morning. I was in Uganda, in Prof. Kasuli's land. Secondly, I would like to thank you so much, and thank you, our beloved Professor Shukran from the IIUM, the Dean of AbdulHamid AbuSulayman Kulia. The same thanks goes to my sister Mona and all the participants, and particularly to our beloved brother and father Manzur Alam and the institute. And that institute has been an inspiration, has been working hardly and continuously and consistently promoting these objective studies as the title of the institute is to. Thank you all to all of you for attending this 1 day or 2 day seminar about our beloved father, our professor. May Allah arhamu, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have his mercy on his soul. Any conference or seminar or forum or meetings about our beloved Professor AbdulHamid is the most welcome and most greeted one, because it gives us hope that what he did it for the sake of Ummah. Whatever you do for the sake of Ummah is the one which lasts, as far as the Ummah will remain, as we do witness today. I have written a paper and I have forwarded to the organizer. Maybe it'd be something great that the organizer could distribute and hand it and give it to all. So I'm not going to talk about what I have written, because you will have access to that one. So I want to say something from my own heart. A story I had it with our beloved Professor Dr. our father AbdulHamid AbuSulayman, rahimahullah. One day I had a meeting with him. I went to see him. He used to accept to receive me after the office hour. I used to come to see him in his office. He gave me this privilege. It was almost like every 1 or 2 days I will come and then we just talk, because he was looking at me as his own son, not a lecturer or a student in IUM. One day I told him that I have read your book, Azmat al-Aql al-Muslim, The Crisis in the Muslim Mind, and I could see you are focusing so much on this human sciences. Is it a big problem? Why would you not focus on practical sciences, applied sciences, medicine, physics, and all of those things? He laughed, as usual. When you put some of the questions, which is very interesting, he told me, "Brother, of course, I'm his son, but with the greatness and the heart, big heart that he was having, he was calling everybody in IUM brother, brother. He was himself who calling, people call him brother rector. This is the humbleness and humility he inculcated in all of us, and to learn that the office or the position is nothing, shouldn't change the person's status to be the normal person, to become a very stranger person while communicating or dealing or talking to others. So he told me, brother, listen to me. All the crises the Muslims have today, that the crises are not been provoked by the scientist. I mean, people, the medical doctor is in his clinic, or the one who is in physics, the one who is in the lab, all of those people are doing. All the problems are coming from the social sciences. I mean, the administrators, those people who are governing us, those who are ministers, those who are running the countries. I think the problems are coming from there. So therefore, it is incumbent on us to make sure that people who from that will be balanced people, will know what is in the interest of the Ummah, will be more humble, productive, sincere, and they will be committed to work for the sake of Ummah and for the pride of the Ummah. So therefore, I'm focusing on human sciences, because if you look at the majority of the Muslims or the people in the administration, in management, majority of them are coming from the social sciences. It could be economics or law or psychology, sociology, communication, political science, and all of those sciences are known to be the social sciences and humanities. So I want to make sure that if it happened that one of them end up to be tomorrow leaders of a country, leaders of a company, leaders of, to make sure that they will be the right people, they will be the right person, they will help, and then they will think about the future. They will be objectively contributing to the pride of. Then I realized it when I left UIA and I went to the politics, and I worked as a minister for 12 years. I was telling myself every day that what you were saying, in other places today, if you take all of these leaders, graduates of law, graduates of social sciences, you will find them there. So if it happened that you get the good and the right leaders from these places, then you will have less problem and the crisis for the Ummah will be solved. Brothers and sisters, I have seen this one, and I could see that how he was so practical. He was a giant professor. He was real. He does not care about what would be the reactions of others when he says or when he speak up his mind. He does not give so much considerations what people are going to say if I say this. As far as he is convinced with the ideas, then he will just express it and he will say it may not be acceptable. It may be sometimes rejected by some people, as he was so much critical for our Islamic jurisprudence at certain level. And his critics are found to be the right one. Because once you do not have the courage, once you have that fear, you will always think about what are the people are going to say. Then you will never say what you believe, but you will say what you want the people wants you to say. And normally, people want you to say something which is not going to shock them, which is not going to change what they believe. But if you are a thinker, your obligation is to walk, to say, to express yourself. You know, ancient time and all of those big thinkers in the history, they were marginalized, they were rejected, sometimes they were even executed because of their ideas, because of their opinion. So the Prophet Dr. AbdulHamid AbuSulayman, Allah Yarhamu, Abu he was such a great man, such great thinker, and was very courageous one. I know him that when somebody asked him someday, talking about, this generation, they should be respectful to the Torah, the legacy. He said, yes, I am for the respect, but I'm not for the full admission of everything. You must have in mind that this Torah, this legacy we do have, they are a human product. That's why he refused to call the Kuliah of Islamic studies or Kuliah of Sharia or Kuliah of this thing. Say Islamic revealed knowledge. That Islamic revealed knowledge and human heritage, Islamic heritage. He did not call it Islamic studies, Islamic heritage, because he was saying that heritage, you have so many good things, at the same time you have so many issues need to be revised. So brothers and sisters, talking about him today, his personality, I would say without any hesitations, he was a great man. He was a real thinker. I have seen the thinkers. I have seen how he was really acting, and he was having always in hands practical solution to the problems that Muslims face today. You have seen it the last 10, you can say the last decades, what we have gone through, what the Ummah has gone through today, and what we continue to witness today. It will show to you, will confirm to you that our beloved father was a great man, was a visionary. He was a visionary. One day he was at the same time talking about why now we have still focusing on the universities. He told me that one day all the students are coming to us. They have been brought up in high school, in colleges, in primaries, but they do not have the Islamic values in these schools. They were not taught, except those who are coming from the religious schools. And the majority of the students are not coming from religious schools. So let us make sure that we will have a school from the kindergarten, then until the grade 12, we produce the people when they come to UIA, when they come to the Islamic, to the university, they have no problem. So that's why he established, I would say this one, he is the one who established international Islamic schools in Malaysia. He was the one who who brought the idea, and then with the help of many professors, he appointed Professor Rusnani and professor from US. They all came together, and then he brought a unique curriculum. That school has a unique curriculum. You do not have it in any international schools in the world, because it is really producing the good students that when they reach the university, they have no problem to continue. They have been balanced. I have an experience with this one because I had my children who went to that school, and I could see how they are different from other children who went to the public or the religious schools. It's not religious schools. Definitely, it's not religious school. It's not secular either. But it is something, the combination, it is a very balanced, and I could see the children from the beginning, how they have been grown, how they have been brought up, and then how they managed to get this one. So I will say I want to focus on these two items. He was giant, definitely he was giant. He was thinker, he was thinker. He was so lovely. And I have seen in him the love that he was having to the children. And then the children to him, he was saying, all the solutions. We do not want the problems today. Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, when he was talking about Sina, the 40 years, he used to repeat this scenario, the history of Sayyidina Musa. When the Sayyidina Musa brought the Bani Israel, he brought them from Cairo. They were about to enter Israel. They were about to come to the Al Muqaddasa, the promised land. Then what did he tell him? اذهب أنت وربك فقاتلا قال يعقوب إن فيها قوما جبارين وإنا لن ندخلها فاذهب أنت وربك فقاتلا إنها هنا قائدون. You, Moses, and people with and your Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, go there. We will not go. We are not ready to go there. Professor AbdulHamid, he was the first. I've ever heard a Mufassir talk about why these people refuse to go there. He told us those days, and he continued to say many things. He said these people, because they were slaves, and then the slaves, one of the best, the inhuman and the character of the slave is that the fear. When you insert the fear in the people, if you want to slavize somebody, if you want to turn somebody to be slave, then you have to make sure that he will be afraid. Because with the fear, you will ask him to do. If you take a gun, or if you take something that the punishment, so the people who will have fear of being punished, of being this, then they will go and do what you ask them to do. So the people become slaves, become out of the fear. So these people, because they have been slaves, they have been brought up slaves, they have lived slaves, they have no courage to go and face the realities. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال إنها محرمة عليهم 40 سنة يتيهون في الأرض. Allah decided that these people who came with the Moses from Egypt, they will not be there 40 years. They have been banned. They will not be allowed to come to this holy land. He said this 40 years means what? This generation, they are going to die. There will be a new generation this generation will be brought not in the slavery. That generation will be free generation. And that free generation is the generation that brought and that came in to the promised land. That's why he was saying, any education based on fear, any education at home, you are using the fear as a tool, that education will never last. Will never produce the brave, will never produce the good, or will never put the courageous people there. So he was saying, you must be convincing. So I could see some of the lecturers sometimes, they will be so critical to him. People might be expecting as a rector, the next day they are going to be sacked or they are going to be fired, but never ever did this in his lifetime. I had an experience, we had one of the lecturer, very, very emotional. He was just criticizing and talking very loudly with no respect to the Professor AbdulHamid AbuSulayman. And everybody was saying, the next day the guy is going to be fired. When the time comes to renew his contract, he said, you must extend him. And this person has to stay around here. So you could see in him that he was saying, I'm looking for people who will be able to speak up their mind. I'm looking for people to be critical. Of course, we have to have respect, we have to have manners when you do this one there. So therefore, brothers and sisters, I wouldn't take this, I would have much to say about this great man, a great father, a great scholar, educationist, somebody who has left with us, who gave us such opportunity to live the time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him and spend all his life. I could say this one. You know, many of you do not know that one. He spent 10 years as a rector for International Islamic University of Malaysia. He never, ever took one salary from the university. He didn't never take his salary. Some people are so proud, so say, why? Is it because he is very rich? No. Even if he was rich, it is his right to have the salary. But he told me one day, I do not need, what would I be doing there? Whenever he was traveling to any place, to Saudi Arabia, anywhere, he will never take, he will buy the ticket by his own self. So what did he do with the salary? The 10 years, could you imagine? The salary of a rector for 10 years is a huge amount of money. My beloved brother, Professor Shukran, knows as a dean. So what the UAE is one of the best universities that are paying well. So one day when he was leaving, we were together at the airport. Brother Zailan, our good friend, who was to be the executive financer, director of our finance department, finance unit, division, he told Prof, you are leaving, but you have huge money of this one for you. The salary that you did not take it for all these years. From 1988 to 1999, or 98, sorry. Then he did not touch. He said, no. What you need to do, we have to have student endowment fund. And that student endowment fund, this should be the basic of the money. Just contribute to this. Make sure you will bring the brilliant and bright students to study here. I want them to be the agent of change, the positive change, and I want them to be the great people in the future. That is the man. How many of us today would have accept this one? Even he might be the billionaire. And I told him last time, billionaire, there are sometimes some people are very rich, but they don't want to give the money. He said that's why they're rich. Because when they keep the money with them, it makes them become richer as they are. They become richer before continuously because they do not want to spend it there. So that the sincerity he was having. Why we keep talking about him up today? Because he was sincere. You know, you have to this one. When you have this sincerity in anything you do, believe me, the centuries to come, the years to come, the decades to come, people will continue talking and people will continue spreading the great ideas, the great opinions that you have given along. So I would like to thank you again and again. And I hope that the conferences you've been holding to Malaysia, because it was the home that allowed our professor to speak up his mind without having any fear, without having to be prevented from doing everything. May Allah bless him. Dr. Sri Anwar Ibrahim, who was there, who provided him, who believed in him, who believed in him. I do remember that one. He believed in him, saying that you have to come to make sure that the ideas should be put into practice today. And this Dr. Sri today, alhamdulillah, to see what this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed our beloved Prime Minister, Dr. Sri Anwar Ibrahim. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to protect him, to guide him, and continue to protect Malaysia, to bless Malaysia and Malaysia. Thank them for all of those opportunities. They gave it to Allah, to Prophet Dr. AbdulHamid, and then they allowed those ideas to be today into practices. Our beloved rector today, I'm extremely glad that he became the rector, Professor Emeritus Osman Bakr. I think Osman Bakr is known to be a part of this project of Islamization of knowledge, which has nothing to do with the politics, as some people are attempting to say it as it is an agenda of any political movement. It is not an agenda. It is an intellectual agenda. It is a solution. It is one of the solutions that Muslims believe that it could contribute to solve the crisis that we are going through. And then we are living in crisis daily basis. On every year, new crises are coming. Our solution will go to make sure that we'll have the right people who will know how to manage this crisis and how to turn the crisis into opportunities. That was the great man, AbdulHamid AbuSulayman, who left us with this. I will call upon you all to continue to read the book. That's the crisis of Muslim in the Muslim mind. Azmat al Muslim thanks to our beloved father or all his good friends, those who are not here today. Professor Dr. Jamal Barzanji, Dr. Abu Ahmad Tahir, and we keep continue to pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep with us longer. Dr. Ahmad Tutunji and our beloved father, Dr. Hisham, and all of those companions, Prophet Malkawi, and we'll never forget our big brother, Dr. Omar Kasuri. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you all and make sure Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue and have a mercy on the soul of Dr. AbdulHamid AbuSulayman, our father. I used to tell our sister Muna, he's our father. It's not only yours, but it is our father, the father of all this Muslim Ummah that he left us to with this legacy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him and reward him and make sure his work. May Allah make it such which will say and which will last and will continue to be contributive to the solution, to the problem, to the crisis that we are living today. Wabillahi tawfiq. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sorry for taking more than what you expected me to speak. But if you want me to speak about AbdulHamid, believe me, I will have hours to talk because I do love this man and I pray for him in every prayer that I do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him and protect his family, his progeny, protect his children. All of those who are here today are grateful to Sister Muna to continuing to pursue. This is the job and to make it known to the new generation. Wabillahi tawfiq wal hidayah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Koutoub, Moustapha, Sano.